Welcome back, friends. Okay, so today we're going to work on the French augmented chord. Now, this is intermediate to advanced chord, but I think even advanced beginners can get a sense of what this is, and I'll be able to explain it in very simple terms off of the dominant chord. Once you have your dominant chord under your fingers, it's just the fifth, the third note in your dominant chord that gets flatted. So -1, and we'll look at it from a few different perspectives there, okay? So this is great. I mean, as an arranger, this is a very, very, very useful chord. All these color chords, once we get into regular patterns of diatonic chords, we need to find more interesting chords once you become a little bit more advanced. So I've been itching to get into some more professional chords. So I'm throwing this out there for you, called the French augmented chord, and it has a very specific function. So let's dig in. Classroom maestro, please. Here we go. All right. So we're going to start off with our dominant chord. All right. Now C7 is really part of our F scale. Or you could think of it as a C major and then just turning that into a dominant. And that's actually called a 5 of 4, as you see up on top, 5 of 4 chord. All right, so once we have our dominant chord, C7, we're just gonna flat the 5. That's the fifth. Now, interestingly enough, this chord is also a symmetrical chord. All right, let's talk to you guys for a second. Okay, so it's a symmetrical chord. What's a symmetrical chord? Symmetry is you have a pattern of one note, a major third, then you have a whole step and another major third. So it's symmetrical because you have a major third separated by a whole step. So that is symmetrical. You've got a block on the right, a block on the left. It's the same exact block, and it's separated in the middle by whatever. It could be a half step, whole step, minor third, whatever. But whatever it's separated by, it's still symmetrical. You have the same thing on both sides. So this is a perfectly symmetrical chord. It's, once again, French augmented chord or dominant flat 5. Or I want to call it a dominant sharp 11. That's fine too. The flat 5 functions as a sharp 11 or sharp 4. So there you go, a couple of different names for it, but French augmented chord, dominant 7, flat 5 for now. So let's dig in, do that in a few different keys. Here we go. Let's flat that fifth, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the fifth of the chord, and flat it. Okay, so there's your C7, flat 5. Now, in classical harmony, this chord would have a different function of as a flat 6 chord in a key of E. Which is a whole other topic. It becomes like a flat 6 chord. Just to give you a classical background for that. So this is a little bit more of an advanced concept. We can get into that with sheet music and all that. Just as you know, that French augmented chord is just not a chord that floats in the middle of nowhere. It actually functions as a flat 6. What's a flat 6? Flat 6, 7. We don't have chords built on the flat 6 of our scale, unless you're in minor. In minor key, 6 is flat. So let's say you're in A minor. I'll show you how that works. Get back to classroom maestro for this. Let's see you're in A minor. F is a flat 6 because there's no major sixth in minor. Unless you're in Dorian. You've got a flat 6, and that chord in A minor, everything's white, is major. So that functions as a flat 6, 5, and in minor you're allowed to turn this E minor into a major chord. Flat 6. Now, don't forget we have that augmented. All right. So now you understand a little bit about this flat 6 chord that really functions as part of a minor scale. But we're just going to extract this French augmented chord in any key, because sometimes it could be used in different functions other than in that classical way. It doesn't have to function as a flat 6 chord. It could just float out there, and you could use it in parallel and just use it as a sound, as a color. All right, so let's get back to our dominant 7 flat 5 chord or French augmented chord. Here we go. And let's do it in a few different keys. Let's get to know this chord. Let's get to know this chord really well. There's our dominant flat 5. Let's do the white notes. D7, take that 5th. Here's our, and it is symmetrical. You got a major 3rd, whole step, and another major 3rd. Let's take E7, take that 3rd note or the 5th, and lower it a half step. I mean, it could be really like a jazz thing. Pretty cool. So going back to our white notes. You want to start from the dominant? Lower the 5th. Pretty easy. Once you find your dominant, lower the 5th. A. That's a white, black, white, white. Pretty cool chord. Get your fingers around that. 1, 2, 3, 5 in your fingering, or 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5 is really comfy. 1, 2, 3, 5 is also pretty okay. I like 1, 2, 4, 5. Or if you really want 1, 3, 4, 5, then you have a finger open for, if you want to just add that 9th. Interesting harmonies now. Getting pretty advanced here. Let's do the flats. Going up. Here's your D flat 7 dominant chord. Now don't forget, a dominant chord is 4, 3, and 3 in terms of half steps. Lower that. Then you have 4, 2, 4 as your symmetrical chord. D flat 7 flat 5. E flat 7 flat 5. Just practice going from that D flat 7, which has a white note on the pinky. Just practice that in your hands. Now let's go to the flats. And A flat. And B flat. All right, so there's a lot right there. Your dominant 7 flat 5 chords. Once again, you could add an octave in the left hand if you're playing a C7 flat 5. Add a C in the bass, or even add a D in the bass. Let's get a little kooky here. All right, let's do that. Give you something else to think about. It gives you something to think about. And put a D in the bass. That gives you a nice, interesting chord. Counting. So you have a 7th, 9th, 3rd, and sharp 5. All different kinds of jazz chords. That one sounds really nice. We're getting into another territory here. So beautiful. What is this chord? Well, we have a dominant, of course. It's on E, that's our E7, 9, 13, just a 13, 9, 13, 9, sharp 5. No, sure, 13, 9, sharp 11. Yeah, right, that's a 13, 9, sharp 11. 9, sharp 11, 13. Or 13, sharp 11, 9 if you want to go backwards. And just move your fingers up 1. Once you have your fingers, just climb them. I mean, come on. I mean, you could subscribe, like, even though I just went off on a blue tangent, that's fine, but you can get into some jazz here. But once again, we did our dominant 7 flat 5, get into some interesting patterns. We could use it as a classical chord, as a flat 6, and then going to a dominant, and then back to 1s, like a flat 6, 5, 1, or we could use it just as a soundscape, just floating all over the place. And when you're arranging, just see if you want to throw that chord in there. If you're bored with your dominant chord, use it as an alternate. So that's what I have to say about that. And that really leads us to the next topic, which will be nomenclature on jazz chords and dominant chords. So glad that we're doing this. Once again, please like and subscribe. Happy to be with you and share knowledge that I got from studying classical music and jazz. And some of my compositions actually incorporate both classical and jazz harmonies. And I like to integrate that. I also came out with a Jewish jazz CD that I later called Time for Mashiach, which is Messiah. And it's pretty cool album. I have a song in there, a parody on Eye of the Tiger called Eye of the Rabbi, Eye of the Rebbe. So you can check that out somewhere on my channel. Maybe I'll leave it in a link below. Please like and subscribe. See you in the next chapter. And once again, keep practicing. Thank you so much for checking me out. And look forward to your comments and questions. And once again, subscriptions really help. Have a great day. Keep it up. And please ask any questions and suggest any more topics that you're interested in. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Keep practicing.